The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and it's 8 o'clock on Friday here where we do Case's movie reviews. So what happens with these? If you have not been here for it before, as I mentioned, Case, the producer, a 25-year-old guy, hasn't seen any big movies, but now he has for the last 3 or 4 months. I got so tired of making movie references and him not knowing what I was talking about. It's very annoying. It's very annoying.
Tell me how you really feel.
So now he's been forced each week to watch a movie. And what was last week? Was it Jaws? 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, because last Friday was Memorial Day.
That's right.
And so 2 Fridays ago, it was Jaws.
Yes. So he's enjoyed this. He's a better person now because he's seen these big movies that all y'all have seen.
I'd like to think so, because I enjoy music before my time, and I enjoy TV before my time, but movies are just a blind spot in general. I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself and a lot about the world every Friday because of this.
And this is recommended by you guys out there, the crew members.
Our crew member, Dodger Boy, specifically mentioned it's the 80th anniversary of D-Day this week. Why did I watch Saving Private Ryan? And that was a great idea. Made my life easier. One less thing I had to come up with.
So did Case like Saving Private Ryan, or is he going to somehow rip one of the greatest movies of all time?
The troops, the American country.
Stay tuned, because it's coming up, his review.
Now I'm starting to really question what we decided to do here.
Well, that's the mystery of the review. You never know what's going to happen in the lens of a 25-year-old. But here is the trailer to take you back to when this movie came out, July 24th, 1998.
8 soldiers were chosen to find one man.
Some private lost 3 of his brothers and he's got a ticket home.
They didn't know how.
It's a tough assignment. That's why you got it.
They didn't know where. They didn't know why.
What is happening?
Finding him, if that earns me the right to get back to my wife, well then, that's my mission.
Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Tom Sizemore, Matt Damon, Saving Private Ryan. A film by Steven Spielberg. Rated R. Starts Friday, July 24th.
We say this every time. Movie trailers back then were so much better than they are now.
Oh, I miss the narration.
In a world.
Yes.
That guy.
I want to be in whatever. I don't need to hear anything else. That world. I want to be in it.
That's Don LaFontaine, who sadly passed away, and then they didn't really replace that kind of voice after that. Also,
what a monopoly. I do all the movies.
Yeah.
They're like, what kind? No, all of them. I get every movie. It doesn't matter. It could be comedy, drama. No, I get all the movies.
Who's that guy that goes, in a world? Bring that guy and we'll do that. It'd be great.
He gets all
an
of them.
idea.
Also, I want to make a note in the trailer. This movie is littered with cameos of A-level actors today. It was Tom Hanks, Ed Burns. Matt Damon wasn't mentioned until 4th of the stars in that movie. Tom Sizemore was mentioned 3rd.
And no mention of Ted Danson, Paul Giamatti, Bryan Cranston. It's a loaded lineup.
So anyway, here we go, Case. Saving Private Ryan, your review, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
So when this came out, this was 1998. Did you see this in theaters, Brian?
I did.
Okay. What do you remember about that? Was it a big deal to see this?
It was a big deal because it was Tom Hanks, who's done a lot of funny movies, and he started to do some, other kinds of movies, but this was so obviously the most serious topic you can have in America in a way, D-Day, and the people that had passed and fought for our freedoms. And Tom Hanks, people were thinking, can he play a tough soldier guy? And of course, he proved he can and did, and brought all these people along for it for an incredible movie. And Steven Spielberg, of course, he's touching it, so it's probably going to be awesome.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not a bad lineup.
Not a bad track record.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan. Everybody wants to talk about the first 20 minutes of this movie.
So just since you asked about the theater, when you were in the theater, and did you see it in the theater, Kenzie?
No.
You did not see it in the theater.
No.
God.
Wait, when did it come out?
98.
Yeah, not alive. Or wait, no, 98?
You were 4. You were 4, right?
I was 3.
It's a good movie.
So, no.
Good movie for the kids.
Fun for the whole family.
We would have a family night at that one.
Kenzie like, Elmo. Nope. Saving Private Ryan.
Well, they got to learn.
Because that first 20 minutes is, without question, one of the most magnificent displays of cinematography and horror in a movie in history.
So I didn't know anything about this movie. I really didn't even know that Tom Hanks was in it until I started watching it. Like, I had no real knowledge of it. But as we've talked about on the show before, Brian and I live in the same neighborhood, so we leave work together most days, and he drops me off at my apartment, which I greatly appreciate. And I told him yesterday, I said, all right, I'm going to go home and watch Saving Private Ryan. And I'm getting out of his Nissan Rogue, and he looks at me and he goes, hey, the first 20 minutes, get ready. And I didn't know what that meant. I thought maybe it was going to be sexual. And I was like, hell yeah. rubbing my hands together.
Great, you had a box of Kleenex next to you. Used for a completely different reason.
It's 20 minutes of soldiers saying goodbye to their side pieces.
It was not that.
No.
It was D-Day.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. The thing about the first 20 minutes of this movie is that it's never not so loud. It's just like, and I wasn't watching in a movie theater.
It's like being at Twisted Christmas. Unbelievable.
I was watching in my one-bedroom apartment in Uptown, and I just couldn't believe how loud everything was. I turned the TV down. It was still too loud. It was
That's a weird take.
I'm not even saying it's good or bad. It was just by the end of it all, I felt like I was on the beach. I was exhausted, and I was just watching it. I wasn't firing a gun at all.
That's what it took you right there to the beach and the horror that those guys experienced. Do you have any surround sound?
No. I'm sorry, my broke ass doesn't have surround sound.
So you're using that
Looking
crap.
at your TV on the ground, you're just sitting there.
Do you got like a TV speaker, like from your flat screen, which are usually little cheap speakers?
I just have the TV.
Yeah.
So not that loud, huh?
No.
Can't be.
It still was loud though for
It
you.
was really loud. It was just, oh my God, it wouldn't stop. It was so loud. It was so intense.
That's just such a funny thing to say first about this amazing movie.
Well, especially if your little crap TV like speaker.
How many inches you got?
12. Right?
No, it's more than 12. I got a TV for Christmas. I think it's
From who?
my parents.
Nice parents.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. My parents
parents-
love me. I know I have to apologize for that around here.
No, but you always make this comment about like I'm uncomfortable texting them, but they sent you TVs. Do you think you'd want to text them all the time?
Well, I opened it underneath the Christmas tree. They didn't send it to me. Santa sent it. I opened it on Christmas
I
Day.
got sent by Santa.
I know it's like a 50-inch TV.
Okay, it's good size.
I have had a good year. You know, what can I say?
We're such a good kid. He texts them once a month, so he deserved a TV.
It was just, I don't know. Brian, what was your reaction the first time you watched it? Because I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Well, yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe how far they went in showing you the horrors of war. I mean, there's literally the most graphic things I've ever seen on a movie screen. Where
Which
the guys,
says a lot coming from you.
I've seen a lot of stuff.
I know.
Some of those theaters that you don't go to.
Is that right?
What does that mean?
I'm not going to get into it.
There you go.
You see that kind of stuff in theaters?
There are some theaters you can go to, Kenzie,
No.
in some
An
neighborhoods.
entire theater? Like you're sitting next to people and you're all eating popcorn while you're doing that and watching it?
Everybody send in your zip code. Kenzie will send you the address to the
No.
closest adult movie theater there is.
I've never heard of this. They have adult movie theaters? Like they just show porn? And you go in a group?
Kenzie, you're such a naive little child.
Why would anybody want to do that with other people you don't know?
Well, because back in the day, you couldn't just open up a phone and look at everything like you can now. But some of those theaters have survived that world for some reason.
Could you imagine? Oh, God. I wouldn't, like, the chairs? No, thank you. What? I just sit down. This is an iconic building. No, thank you.
Oh, boy.
Wow. So Saving Private Ryan.
So back to Saving Private Ryan, not in an adult theater.
Greatest Generation, The Troops, America, F yeah. It's a very good movie. It's too long. I'll say that right now.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's 3 hours. It's too long. There's 2 different parts where they could shave off time, and I think the movie would be better. After D-Day, there's like a 20-minute period where they're all just going like, oh, that was a lot. That was kind of crazy.
Sorry, it was a lot. Sorry. They just basically tried to free France there. And,
Well, it's a true story, Case. They can't let's make it easier for everyone.
Well,
10,000
not
died.
second by second. It's not a documentary. They could have cut time after D-Day in the movie. The other place they could have cut time was after they find Private Ryan, and not the fake Private Ryan, because they find a decoy.
How funny is that scene?
You know who he looks like? Next time you watch Saving Private Ryan, remember this. He looks like Gronk. And so they
my God.
Yeah, Rob Gronkowski. So they find fake Saving Private Ryan, and I'm like, oh my God, is that Gronk? Is he in this movie? What a cast.
He's a time traveler.
But
He
after
looks great, man.
He really does. He aged wonderfully. But after they find Matt Damon, the real Private Ryan, there's just a lull in the movie before that final battle scene that I doesn't think need to be there. And that's the only time that I really lost interest. And I was looking at the phone and I was, checking emails, and that doesn't carry very well. But for the most part, for a long-ass movie, which I think that's the only time that's ever been said about Saving Private Ryan is it's a long-ass movie.
Yeah.
It carries for the most part. I think this is a very good, not great movie. And I shout out to the troops at D-Day. Respect, brave men, braver than I'll ever be. I love it. Movie could have been shorter.
Can I ask a question? Did you know what happened at D-Day, or were you learning about D-Day?
I was a little surprised to see just how much carnage was there. I was unprepared for the vomit and the bullets and
vomit?
everything. Yeah, because they're throwing up at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Here's what I'll say
I don't
about
remember the vomit.
Yeah, they're on those boats that are going to the beach, and they got the waves are out of control. In reality, you see, one little history lesson.
Please.
They almost had to postpone it because of the.
Postpone D-Day like
There's
a
a rain delay.
concert?
That was a bad word actually to use, but that's what they were going to do. They were going to postpone it for like a week or two, but they knew Hitler. He knew what was going on. He kind of had an idea there was going to be an attack, and so they knew if they did it right now, they had to go. It would be still a surprise, but if they waited just one day, Hitler would have found out. So they had to go in, and then the water and the waves were out of control going in.
Here's the thing that shocks me the most whenever I read, especially about World War II and the Korean War, even by Vietnam, I think technology had advanced to a degree that this doesn't matter as much. Whenever I hear about World War II, I can't believe they found the places they were looking for. The fact that they sailed to the right beach is mind-blowing. They could have ended up in Turks and Caicos with all their machine guns and just unloaded on that beach and then been like, oh, I guess we're in the wrong spot. I don't know. I can't get to Naperville without extreme GPS, navigational systems helping me out. I don't know how they were flying planes across the world and sailing the Atlantic and getting to the exact spot they wanted to go to. That always blows my mind.
So that's where you're taken away from Saving Private Ryan. They found the right beach. They got to the right beach. There was no girls in bikinis out there in Antigua.
I know, that's the thing. They could have ended up in the wrong spot so easily. I would have no idea. Like, if it was my job to drop the atomic bomb, I would have ended up in a different continent. I'm right over Nagasaki right now. How would you know that?
You know what's even more interesting is that, yes, how did they find the right one? Also, how do you know you're on the right one?
Thank you.
Because, okay, fine, you got there. But right now, we Google pictures and we're like, oh, this is the spot. Yeah. This is what it looks like.
And you still sometimes can't tell you're in the right spot.
Yeah,
that doesn't look at the same building.
Right. So you show up on the beach and, like, you've never even seen a picture of it.
No.
Yeah, I know. No, I understand where you're coming
Wait, is that
from.
Chipotle? Is that the Chipotle I'm looking for? It looks different.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about maybe they remodeled it. It's like even Finding Private Ryan. They're like, hey, it's Ryan from Iowa. Good luck. And then they have to ask everybody, like, hey, are you Ryan from Iowa? No. Oh, okay. I guess we'll keep on looking then.
And they even found a Ryan.
I know.
He looked like Gronk.
He looked like Gronk. He's like, oh, I'm a different Ryan from Iowa.
Oh, it's based on a true story.
I love when they tell him his brothers die, and then they find out it's the wrong guy. He's like, well, they were just back home, man. Like, what's going on when they find the fake Private Ryan?
You love it?
Yeah. Well, because he says they're in middle school. How are they in this battle overseas?
Well, they didn't have a picture of the right Ryan.
That's
This is what I
right.
mean. No picture reference is
All
very
right.
tough.
So, final rating.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan. I enjoyed it. We're not going to rate it out of joints. I had a bunch of texts come in recently because we did Dazed and Confused last week.
That's
we forgot
right.
about that.
That's right.
And I rated it out of 10 joints. We will not rate
No.
Saving Private Ryan out of 10 joints.
We will
rate
not.
We'll rate it out of American flags.
Yep.
If Shawshank is 10 out of 10 prison cells and Braveheart is 1 out of 10 blue-faced warriors, I think Saving Private Ryan is 7 American flags out of 10.
You got to give it I would say you have to give it like 7.9 if you're going to do it like that.
I'm going strong 7.
That's not
strong
fair.
7.
It has to be higher than
Yeah,
that.
I think so too.
Wah, wah.
Look, we're up against it here. Case, good review. If you just got to the end of it, it'll be on the podcast. We have a really special announcement for you coming up here at 8:25 about a pop-up.
Yeah,
another
baby.
pop-up.
Q101 pop-up coming.
So let's go to break with this. Since you talked a lot about how you learned about history with this movie, and Kenzie brought up, did you even know about?
What was D-Day? Like, I wonder how many people watch this. Like, based on a true story.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Well, our great friend Nate Bargatze, the comedian, has a great story about learning about history.
That's why I get nervous.
Whoops, let me get rid of the war music there. I don't want to give Nate
I felt like I was
some-
going into battle
I
again.
know,
I felt
here
like
we
I was
go.
at
That's
D-Day.
why I get nervous as I get older, because I am already not smart, and I'm in my prime right now. I don't read any books. I don't do it, and I think that matters. I do think that matters. Reading, I believe, is the key to smart. That's what I've always said, and I don't do it because every book is just the most words. It doesn't let up. I mean, every page is more work. It's like, what are you talking about this? Put some blank pages in there. Let me get my head above water for 2 seconds. I want to learn more about history because I don't know anything. And so I'm trying to figure it out. I can tell I don't know anything about history because every history movie I watch on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen? I don't know. I watched the movie Pearl Harbor, and I was as surprised as they were.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.